Welcome to the debate. Today we're dissecting the ultimate binary presented in The Secret of Your Eternal Life. The material really forces us to choose between two fundamental ways of seeing our existence. Is life a dead end, a sort of biological accident that's just defined by struggle and then, silence?
Or is it something else?
Exactly. Or is it what the material calls an enlightened truth, a continuous classroom for the soul? I'm arguing for the latter, that our existence is this ever-flowing continuity, where experience isn't random at all, but essential education.
And I'll be taking the stand for the finite. I would argue that the so-called dead-end view, the reality of the grave, and the struggle leading up to it, it provides the necessary gravity that defines our humanity. And I think dismissing that as a misconception risks trivializing the genuine weight of earthly suffering.
That binary is exactly where we need to start. Because the enlightened truth, I think, completely reframes the purpose of that struggle you mentioned. The material, it posits that our greatest treasure isn't wealth or status, but the realization of continuity. We aren't just biological machines breaking down, we're students. When the source material depicts Earth as a classroom for the soul, it suggests we're here to convert raw experience into character. It's a shift from being a victim of time to being, an accumulator of wisdom.
See, but I think that reframing is actually quite dangerous. The material illustrates the dead-end view with a man pushing this massive rock up a hill, surrounded by thorns. That isn't just a symbol to be waved away. I mean, for most of the human race, that is the tangible reality of survival. When you label that a world of mere pain and call it a misconception, you strip the dignity from the effort. The man pushing the rock isn't trying to, learn a lesson. He's trying to survive against the odds. That struggle is the reality, not some prelude to a metaphysical payout.
I disagree that it strips dignity. I think it bestows it. Without the classroom framework, the man pushing the rock is just eroding. His pain is tragic precisely because it evaporates when he dies. But if we apply the logic of the enlightened truth, that friction is curriculum. Think about a crushing failure in your career or a heartbreak. In the finite view, that's just loss. It's time wasted. But in the school of life model, that failure is a specific lesson in resilience. The pain is the tuition you pay to acquire the diamond of strength. The suffering becomes an asset that belongs to the eternal self, not just a scar on a dying body.
You're assuming that making suffering useful automatically makes it better. I'd argue that the dead-end view, represented by the withered tree and the broken clock, creates a scarcity that gives life its value. If this is a world of mere pain that definitely ends, then every moment of joy we can wrestle from the void matters implicitly, because it's fleeting. The broken clock signifies that time runs out. That urgency, it forces us to love harder and live deeper right now. If you replace that broken clock with an hourglass that never runs out, as the enlightened model does, don't you risk procrastination? If I have eternity to learn the lesson, why does it matter if I fail today?
I would argue it matters more, not less. The ever-flowing life suggests that death is not the end, which means you don't get to escape your own development. The material's hourglass isn't about unlimited time, it's about the conservation of consciousness. If your true essence existed before birth and continues after, then you are building a permanent identity. In the finite view, you can be cruel, lazy, or selfish, and the grave just wipes the slate clean. In the continuous view, you carry that character with you. The stakes aren't removed, they're made infinite. You aren't just surviving a 70-year sentence, you are crafting a soul that lasts forever.
That sounds exhausting. There's a specific piece in the finality of the tombstone. The concept that life creates life in an endless loop can feel like a treadmill. The dead-end view argues that the struggle is real precisely because the clock eventually stops. It allows for rest. By insisting on an ever-flowing continuity, you might just be denying the human need for a finish line. A test is only meaningful if it can be completed, not if it drags on for eternity.
Unless the goal isn't completion but expansion. The transition from the dead end to the ever-flowing is a move from fear to agency. It lets us view the withered tree not as a failure of nature, but as just a passing season in a much, much longer climate.
Perhaps. But we have to remain critical of using that longer climate to ignore the harsh weather we're standing in right now. Metaphysics shouldn't become an excuse to tolerate preventable suffering.
Agreed. Whether Earth is a world of mere pain or a classroom ultimately decides how we carry the weight.
Right. It's the distinction between fighting a tragedy and attending a class.
We will leave you to decide which map guides you best. Thank you for listening to The Debate.